This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by promoter Eddie Hearn here in Monte Carlo. Eddie, this is some place.
Yeah, have you been to one of these shows before? Yeah. It's really quite strange. When you get in there on Saturday and there's 300 people and everyone's drinking champagne in tuxedos and there's royalty and high rollers and Andi Purewal, it's a strange one in a way, and you've got to be ready and you've got to be up for it. Because I used the example of Derek Chisora when he fought Caballero here a few years ago and he lost quite comfortably. It's not like walking out in front of an arena with 20,000 people going mad, you know. Joe Cordina, luckily for him, has boxed here before, so he's experienced it. But yeah, it's a special place and a very unique environment ahead of what will be a great night of boxing. Great card, great international mix, and I'm really looking forward to it.
In Joe's case, obviously, there's been a lot of talk about what could be next for Leigh Wood fight, the Navarrete fight. So you've just had Hrgovic-Foster defend his crown against Rocky Hernandez, amongst other names. But we've seen a number of upsets over more recent years. How important is it that he does keep his eye on the ball?
That's the key. I mean, look, people talk about banana skins, but banana skins only really exist when you're in with a quality fighter that can win. Vazquez can win this fight if Joe is not at his best. So he's got to be switched on, ready. Like he says, all the big fights are there for him, but he's got to come through Saturday night. And, whether that's Hrgovic-Foster, whether that's Leigh Wood, whether that's another champion, they're all there for him, but nothing matters unless he's victorious at the weekend.
Just on Hrgovic-Foster, just your thoughts and reflections on that and pulling it out in the 12th round.
It's an unbelievable night in Cancun. I mean, I know obviously you had the Fury-Ngannou fight, so it didn't get as much coverage as normal, but it was unbelievable. Hernandez was winning the fight. 11th round was one of the best rounds I've ever seen. The 12th round, all Rocky had to do was hold, but he hasn't got it in him. He was trying to go to war, 25 seconds left in the fight gets stopped, so Hrgovic-Foster retains his world title. So it was a big win for him, and now he wants the big fights, he wants to unify, and I genuinely think that's a fight that can be made for Joe Cordina if he comes through Saturday.
On Leigh Wood, no, obviously we mentioned him with Joe Cordina, but when I speak to him, and when I speak to Ben Davison, they have Navarrete at the top of their list. I know that obviously you're not the promoter of Emmanuel Navarrete, but is that a fight which kind of you'd be willing to try to make?
I think, look, Leigh wants to go to Nottingham Forest, so we need a fight that's worthy of that. That could be a fight with another champion, that could be a fight with Joe Cordina, that could be the Josh Warrington rematch. We've got to make the numbers work, but we've got to deliver the biggest fight out there. I lean towards the Josh Warrington rematch because I feel like watching the fight back and seeing everyone's response, I think he deserves another crack at it. We know that he's going to bring, 6,000, 7,000 more, 10,000 from Leeds to Nottingham Forest for a fight like that, and Leigh will feel the rest. So we'll have to see. But it could be Joe, it could be Navarrete, it could be Warrington. But the plan is May in Nottingham Forest.
Prepared for the backlash from Conlan if you don't throw his name in there?
Yeah, true. I mean, I just feel like if Leigh's going to fight someone else other than a Warrington fight, it could be for the world title. But a statement win for Conlan against Jordan Gill would put his name in the mix for sure. But also want to try and position Mick for a shot at the world title himself.
Noshinga defending his IBF crown as well. Thoughts on what you're expecting to see from him?
Wait till you see this fight. Like Purewal, they tell me that, I don't know if you saw Noshinga's fight in Mexico. It was unbelievable. Like probably one of the best fights I've ever seen. It was one of the fights of the year. They say this is a tougher fight against Purewal. This will be an absolute war. He is one of the most exciting pound-for-pound fighters on the planet, Noshinga. And it's going to be a very tough fight for him on Saturday.
And Suleiman Sissoko, and obviously that rematch between Ramla Ali and Guzman.
Yeah, I mean, Sully's, got to shine on Saturday night. He needs to look good in that fight. Again, we've got 3 Mexicans on the card who are all going to bring war, especially Guzman. I mean, she scared me in the head-to-head. I don't know about you. And you have to give massive props to Ramla. Look, Ramla can win this fight if she stays disciplined. But the problem now is Guzman is so confident in her power. She punches really hard, and she's going to start from the first bell. Last time she started getting into it in the 5th and 6th round. She's going to come out and try and knock her out from the first round. It's a brilliant fight, and a massive props to Ramla. I believe she can do it, stay disciplined in the fight, but it's going to be a nail-biter.
4-fight card a year, I think. Good, last time, brilliant for us, but last time I think it was COVID times.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the Monaco Commission will put on a couple of local fights, but 4 championship fights from the broadcast from 7 p.m.
Fury-Ngannou, Eddie, we haven't spoken since then. Just get your reflections on what was a very unexpected night. Yeah,
it was a wild night, wasn't it? Still can't quite believe what I saw. I thought Ngannou won the fight. It was a very close fight, but when the bell went, I think most people's feeling was that he did enough to win the fight, especially with dropping him and hurting him a few times. I don't know whether it's an underperforming Tyson Fury, whether it's a faded Tyson Fury. You can't also not give credit to Ngannou. It was his first ever boxing fight, match. So just bizarre. And really, like I said, I feel like he should have got the win. And if he gets the win, it goes down as not just the greatest boxing victory of all time, but one of the biggest sporting victories of all time. So respect to him, and we'll see what's next for Fury. I wouldn't be surprised if he retired. Honestly, I don't know. He's not going to take the criticism very well, as you've seen. You know, he didn't do the presser, banned outlets, all this kind of stuff, and that's got to come with it. If you take a fight like that for money, you got to take the criticism. But I don't think he'll take it very well. But I do think he'll be better in the next fight if that is Alexander Usyk.
I spoke to Zhang the day after. He said he labelled it embarrassing for boxing the way the fight unfolded. Do you understand where he's coming from?
Yeah, it is embarrassing for boxing because now you've got all these MMA guys thinking they can just turn pro and win world titles. Like I was on it with Ariel the other day, and he was saying, you know, he was almost saying that fights against Derek Chisora and Dillian Whyte are mismatches for Francis Ngannou. I'm like, they both beat Ngannou. Like, styles make fights. If you put pressure on Ngannou, he will gas. He was ready to gas on Saturday, but Fury just didn't do anything because he was too scared. Scared of maybe the power, but also scared of messing things up for the Usyk fight. So, like, honestly, Ngannou can lose from Southern Area level to World Championship level, but you have to give him the props that he went in there and beat Tyson Fury, or in most people's opinion. But so it's difficult to discredit him. But, like, you know, like Ariel was saying, like they think Ngannou Joshua is a 50-50 fight, and I'm like, make the fight. One, it's a massive fight between two man mountains, but I think it's an easy night's work. But listen, maybe Ngannou goes on and beats everybody. I can't see it.
Well, I only bring Joshua into it because Saudi Arabia have spoken to us and they've said they have every intention on putting on a show on December 23rd still, with Francis Ngannou ideally headlining it. I know you was looking for an Anthony Joshua fight before the year's out. Too short notice, or would you still out in Saudi?
Yeah, we take that fight on December 23. No problem. I mean, look, we're looking at that date for Joshua anyway. So maybe I'll reach out to him and just say, listen, if you need an opponent for Francis Ngannou, AJ's ready. December 23, no problem at all. I'd like a bit more time promotionally to make that fight what it is, which is one of the biggest fights out there. But if that was the date that was offered, not a problem.
I mentioned more so Zhang and Parker. Do you think that in that note that they're kind of not feeling like they want to throw Ngannou in?
Ngannou's not fighting Zhang or Parker. There's no point. You can't. What's the point in taking a small fight now? You've had it off, right? Take the biggest fight out there for the most amount of money, and that is Anthony Joshua. Maybe Deontay Wilder, but Joshua more money, and they'll think they can win the fight. So I don't. There's no point losing to they'll lose to Joseph Parker. They'll lose to Zhang, and then it's all over. Do you know what I mean? So you need to either take a really easy fight or just make as much money as possible.
What do you deem as an easy fight for Francis Ngannou?
Like, I won't say any names because it'd be disrespectful, but like someone who is English title level.
Just away from him and sticking with the AJ theme though, have you got anything there in the pipeline any closer?
For AJ? No, I mean, look, our plan at the moment, or pre-Saturday, was to fight in December or January and fight Deontay Wilder. That's still the case. But I've reached out to Ngannou's team today to say, just, if we're in your plans, let me know. If not, don't worry about it, and we'll just go ahead with what we're doing. But I've not even spoken to AJ about the Ngannou fight. But my advice would be to take it in a heartbeat.
When you've spoken in the past about it, has Joshua been open to it? Oh, he said no?
Yeah, we had a meeting. I had a meeting with Ngannou 6-7 months ago, and Ngannou wanted to fight AJ. I went to AJ, I said, have you got any interest in the Ngannou fight? He went, no. Seemed almost like not interested in, say, gimmick fights, but crossover fights or whatever. Now he's beaten Fury. I think you've got every excuse you need to fight him. And I know he'd fight him, but he wants to win the world heavyweight title. That's all he wants to do. So ideally, it's a path that takes him there. But if the Ngannou fight's massive, my advice would be to take it.
So it's a heavy card on Saturday night, something you spoke about wanting to do. Do you feel like you missed out there not being able to deliver something like that yet?
What, a heavyweight card? No, I've done loads of heavyweight cards. I thought it was good. I mean, I don't think many of the fights were great. I thought Parker was massively overmatched in his fight. Takam didn't turn up, but Bacody's a good fighter. Thought Fabio did great. That was a good fight. And then there's Fury, yeah. So I think it was the shock of what happened, which made the night. Production, everything that Saudi done, unbelievable, you know. And couple that with the madness of what happened in the main event, it was a big night.
Don't know where things sit with Fabio promotional wise, but have you spoken to him since?
I mean, he's always been fight by fight with us. So again, I think he's going to look what's best for him. We love Fabio, been big supporters of him. You know, he's managed by Dillian White, who I haven't spoken to for 3 months. So I don't know where he's going to take him.
Just sticking with a theme of heavyweights, Dacres has signed with Queensberry Promotions. Just your take as to why you've allowed him to leave?
We had matching rights on Solomon Dacres. Queensberry sent him an offer. We saw the offer and we get the right to match. And I couldn't believe the offer, and we said take it ASAP. So wish him all the best. He's a good young fighter, but yeah, we have to act on what we believe the commercial value of the fight was. It was a huge amount of money for Solomon Dacres, and I think it's definitely the right thing for him to do.
Filip Hrgovic is now a promotional free agent. Dan Raphael's reported. Can you tell me about that and any moves on your behalf to try and tie him up?
Yeah, for sure. We're talking about an extension on his deal now. I saw some of the stuff reported wasn't quite correct, but obviously Wasserman have a relationship with Filip Hrgovic, and you know he's in a good position with the IBF. We got him there. We obviously done the fight against Dempsey McKean. We love Filip, and hopefully extend that deal as well.
Will you try and make that Otto Wallin fight sooner rather than later?
Yeah, we are. We're talking to Otto Wallin. We'd like to make Hrgovic against Wallin, which I believe would actually be for the IBF world title when it happens, probably March time, something like that. So looking to tie that up, and then maybe AJ fights the winner of them.
So you say Ben Eubank Jr. obviously won't take place on December 23rd now, looking more so January time. What's been the hold up with that? Is it just for case?
Doing the deal. No, doing the deal, and we're nearly there. That fight will happen in the back end of January in the UK. Will be Spurs or Millennium Stadium, and I think we'll conclude a deal hopefully as soon as this week. But no hold up other than just getting the financials over the line.
I spoke to Tony Sims earlier and I asked him about the current situation with the board and the case, the ongoing case rather. He said to me that it's not necessarily reliant on that coming through and then the fight taking place over there, and he mentioned that there are other governing bodies that could sanction the fight and see it take place in the UK. I asked him, have those conversations maybe accelerated now, bringing in somebody else other than the British Boxing Board of Control to licence it, and he said he leaves it to Matchroom to deal with, throw it to Matchroom. Have you started to explore those options?
No. I mean, look, Conor Benn's not suspended, he's clear to fight, and we know that. And we're going to make the fight, and we are going to then write to British Boxing Board of Control and request sanction. Fully expect them to sanction it. What you said there only matters if they don't sanction it. Obviously that might change my position within the fight. But no, legally Conor Benn is not suspended, clear to fight. So once we make that fight, we'll request sanction, and we believe the board will sanction it.
So you've got every intention still on that fight only happens in the UK currently under the board?
Not only happened, but for my position within the fight, absolutely, we only want to do fights with the British Boxing Board of Control, but we also expect them to be reasonable and follow the rules and the law. But we shall see.
Just one fight on the horizon, which is on the same night as Cameron Taylor too, Benavidez Andrade. Just get your thoughts on that.
It's a good fight. You know, I think that I rate Demetrius Andrade. I think he's very, very good. I just think that I think Benavidez is a very big, strong super middleweight, and I think he'll stop Demetrius late in the fight. But Demetrius starts so fast. If he can get his foot in the fight and coast it out, I think he can. But I think Benavidez might just be too big for him.
Just on that Cameron Taylor 2 fight, what are you expecting this time around?
Just a war. I mean, Katie's going to come with everything. Chantel believes she can be even better in the fight this time. It's absolute must-win for Katie Taylor. You know, you've got a packed Irish stadium. The first fight was tremendous. This fight will be even better. Chantel Cameron's going to be very tough to beat. But Katie's super determined. I think we're going to get a great fight.
One fight I just remembered, Shabaz Masoud headlining in Newcastle next weekend now. Obviously, I saw him on the Friday when he pulled out and he was in a bad way. Any concerns there that he might not be fully fit, ready to go?
100%. I mean, he was fine 2 days after. He had a little bug that kept him out. And obviously he was making weight, which probably made him feel worse. And, you know, it was the right thing to do to pull out. It's literally like, as he pulled out, we had a call saying Pat McCormack was out of his fight, and literally it just made sense. I think he sold like 400 tickets to Liverpool, who then didn't come. obviously, who are now coming to Newcastle. And his time to shine now is main event on the next gen card.
I do appreciate your time as always. See you for every week.
Will do.
Cheers.